Hello everyone. Our main topic is Magento to development. As we know, after Magento to installation, it creates a different folders and files on Magento to root directory. Today, I will try to give you the introduction about Magento to project file system. So let's see. In Magento root directory, our first folder is app. App contains database related information, themes related information, and our modules. Within app folder, we will see there are the three different folder: code, design, etc. Code folder is very important for the backend developers or any front end developers. Here we will have our custom modules or any third party modules, and when we will develop the modules, then we will see how we will use this folder. The second folder is a design. In design folder, it contains a themes information, and within design there it is divided into two parts: admin HTML and front end. Admin HTML contains admin related themes information, and front end contains front end related themes related information. And the third one is the etc. In etc, it have a different file. For example, config.php. Within config.php you can see a different modules, which modules is enabled or disabled, module name, and if it will enable, it will have 1, and if it will disable, it will have 0. And similarly other files like env.php, it contains our database information, cache information, and so on so forth. Here you will also see in the app one more directory, i18n, which usually have a language packs. Our second directory is a bin directory. Within bin directory there are two files, .htxs and Magento file. Here the main file is Magento file, which is also called the CLI scripts. And how we will use this file, let's see. For that one, go to the terminal and execute the command php bin magento and enter. It will list all the commands provided by a different modules, which we can use to achieve a different things. For example, here it is a command name and here it is its purpose. So let's see. For example, if I want to see which modules are enabled or disabled, for that one I can execute the command php bin magento module colon status. It lists all the modules. Here it will list those modules which are disabled, and above of this all those modules which are enabled currently in my Magento project. As you can see here, list of enabled modules. Let's move to the third directory, which is a dev directory. Within dev directory there are the tests, tools, and previous. Tests contains a different tools for different types of tests. For example, for the unit testing, for the integration testing, or for the functional or acceptance testing, etc. And the second is the tools. Tools is related to the development. It contains a different tools for the development. And the third one is the previous. It is related to the deployment tools, and this is about our dev folder. Our fourth directory is a generated directory. It contains all Magento generated code. By default, Magento generate the code to create a non-existent factory classes if the class is injected in the constructor. And also it also contains the files related to the proxy or plugins. So now let's see one example. If I go into the core module, vendor, Magento, catalog module, model, and then product, and then price, and then special price storage. Here if you see on the line number 62, it contains Magento catalog API data special price interface factory. So it should be in the API data folder. So let's see API. So here API data special price interface factory, but here this file does not exist. So Magento generates such factory files automatically, and those files exist in generated folders. So if we go into the generated code Magento catalog API data and then special price interface factory. So this is a file which is created automatically. And now let's see when these files are created. So if I delete all the files in the code, and now these files will be existed when we compile the di files. For that one we need to execute the command php bin magento setup di compile. While executing this command, it generates all those factory files which does not exist, and also intercepts for the plugins and for the proxy lazy loading. So let's complete this command. This will come back. We'll see now they are again the files in the code Magento catalog API data special price interface factory. So this is the purpose of the generated folder, and it still needs to execute the whole command. Meanwhile we will go to the next folder, which is a lib folder. In the lib folder there are the internal folder and the web folder. Internal folder contains those scripts or the fonts which are related to the server side, and the web folder contains those scripts or files which are related to the front end side. This is the purpose of our lib folder, and our di command is also completed. So our next directory is a PHP server, which contains mainly the router.php file. This file purpose is to implement the PHP built-in server, and this file is executed when we try to access it using the CLI command line interface. And let's move to the next directory, which is a pub directory. Our pub directory also have different folders and files. Here the index.php file, this pub folder is the entry point when the Magento mode is a production mode. And if we see the folders errors, it contains the different file based on the error. For example, in case of 503 print this error, in case of 404 print this error. So this is the purpose of the errors folder. Next is a media folder. Media folder contains the different images files or those files which we upload using WYSIWYG or we import, or those type of files contains here. For example, catalog product. In this file, here in this folder, it contains a images files of the products. And the next here the main folder is the static folder. In the static folder, based on the area, it divides our static contents. like front end and admin HTML. In admin HTML, then the second one is a vendor name. Similarly, in front end, the vendor name. And next is our theme name. And next is our store name. And within store, it is divide our static content based on the module name, like Amazon login, Amazon payment, or something like else. And here if you will see this static.php, this file is an entry point for the static contents like CSS, JavaScript, etc. And similarly cron.php is an entry point for our cron's related execution. So this is the purpose of our pub folder. And next, when we see, there is a setup folder, and this folder is executed when we install our Magento for the first time. At that time, our entry point is the index.php, and it install our Magento. And the next is the update. Update directory is related to the Magento marketplace. It contains a separate whole system, and we will discuss this later. And the next folder is a var folder. It is also very important folder, which we should know the purpose of this folder. Within this folder, it contains our cache files, log files, or also the report files, session files. All those type of temporary files are exist in var folder. And the next folder is a vendor folder. This module, this folder, contains our core modules and those third-party modules which we install using a composer. If we go into the vendor, and then these are the mostly the vendor names. Like if you go into the Magento, Magento contains all Magento vendor created modules. For example, module dash amqp. And if you want to see our catalog related things, then you need to go to module dash catalog. Here you will see all the functionalities which is provided by the default Magento. So this is the purpose of our vendor folder. And next, if you will see, there are the different files like git ignore. It have a files which is ignored by the git. Similarly .htxs. And here if you see this YAML file, these files are usually for those projects which are exist on the GitHub. Those projects have a YAML file. And similarly .ini file, this is related to the PHP ini. And the second is like composer, it contains the composer related information. And similarly nginx, this is for we use for the virtual host if we create it using a nginx. Similarly here you will see the index.php. If our Magento is in running in the developer mode, it is mostly the entry point of index of our application, or it also depends our entry point which defined in the virtual host. I hope now you know about Magento 2 project file system. In our next video, we will discuss module based architecture. If you have any comments or suggestion, then please comments in a below section. Please subscribe to my channel and share and like my video. Until then, bye.